Video on how to cure wokeism. If my experience helps other people cure themselves of wokeism, best of luck. I mean, you really, really have to laugh. If I had to choose a brother between my brother and Nick Tenconi, I'd choose Nick Tenconi. If I had to choose a brother between my brother and Bob, I'd have to choose Bob. If I had to choose a brother between my brother and Sam Dawa, I would go with Sam Dawa. I mean, that's how bad my brother is. He's still legally married to his wife. Now, out of deference to my still sister-in-law, he's got his wife still legally married. He's refused to sign the divorce papers. She's trapped in a house where the roof, you can literally see where it is leaking. He is an abusive piece of shit. He's got loans on the house so she can't sell it. And the neighbours feel sorry for her. The neighbour told me a story where he jumped on his wife's car, smashed the windscreen while she was trying to drive away. I mean, I'd call that abuse. I mean, I'm not particularly wokey-dokey. But anyway, how to cure yourself from wokeism. Wokeism is basically communism. It's cultural Marxism dressed up as political correctness. If anyone says anything politically correct, like, do you think you were born in the right body, James? Yeah. If you meet someone called Sophie, so what's your name? I'm Sophie. I'm having a sex change. All right, okay. Nice pair of tits, Sophie. Remember, can you please get that AK-40? I'm being coerced into making this video. Anyway, my brother's just a piece of shit, but how did I cure myself of wokeism? Because it took a bit. Number one, my brother was like blue-eyed boy, whereas it won't surprise anyone. I was just the naughty one. I mean, I went through primary school with, if only you were like your brother and sister. Anyway, but I saw my brother, he failed his O levels. He failed them. He took O levels. And I can remember, my parents had really pressured him. And then he spent his sixth form just literally studying like anything. I mean, that's maybe one good thing about him. And, before he left for university, he was cheering on Maggie Thatcher. Well, I was like, I was 9-year age gap. Yeah? I didn't know who bloody, Maggie Thatcher and these people were. I mean, we had a game of football in primary school, Labour versus Conservatives. I mean, I didn't know bug all. It took him one term. Now, I've sent maybe a bit of an inflammatory email. I said, look, it was either your carpet-munching girlfriend or your university professor, because he came back with the Communist Manifesto and Das Kapital. It's Das Kapital that's got 3 volumes. I mean, my God. Talk about a load of crap on your dad's bookshelf. And my dad was too nice. He actually left this stuff lying around. So, of course, I read a bit of it. And it's a bit like reading Mein Kampf. It's a load of total shite. And then I had to, I dreaded my brother coming home for Christmas because he would bore my dad with communism. And my dad wasn't equipped because he didn't know. Poor thing never went to university. He was boring the pants off all of us with his communism. Now, I wish I could sort of go back in time, which I can't, Doctor Who. I do realise that's demonic, by the way. I can't, bog off back to the 80s. What do they do in science fiction? Take over my dad's brain for us, maybe about 5 minutes and say, well, piss off to the Soviet Union where you'll have to queue for a stale loaf of bread. I mean, and then all these kind of politically correct types, they go, the Soviet Union wasn't really communism. Well, I tell you what, if you were in the Soviet Union and you told someone it wasn't really communism, bye-bye. Do you know what I mean? So, that was my childhood. So obviously I had the stark choice between pleasing my brother and pleasing my father, who gave a pathetic defense of capitalism. I mean, I'm sorry. He never really was able to articulate his views. He was a good accountant, but his economics wasn't quite as strong. So I sort of got suckered into Kinnockism. I got suckered in, and then I went to university. Now, by the time I went to university, you could have described me as a socially conservative leftist. And then when I went to Leeds, my eyes were open for the first time. They started basically pushing their wokey agendas. You know, there was the socialist worker who, by the way, had a bit of facial hair. I mean, she was just a real looker. And I can remember going past with friends going, Gillette, the best a man can get. And she'd just like shout at me. So I decided once to run for student council 1, but then I broke their electoral rules. I wasn't allowed to sit. I mean, you know, there was another guy who got the student union bar renamed to Club Tropicana, as you did in those days. And I started to see through the left a bit. I was still a bit lefty, and I thought, well, you know, these guys are a bit sort of, and I went to Leeds was the university where Arthur Scargill went to, so it was not the University of Buckingham, and it wasn't Oxbridge. Now, I know Oxbridge has become a complete joke. I mean, I saw the job Charlie Kirk did with the Oxford leftists, and he tore them apart. You know, just because you haven't been to university doesn't make you thick. I mean, I went through university and I just drank too much. Do you know what I mean? Because I like the freedom of being away. But by the time my time had finished, I was like not so sure about this Labour Party stuff. I wasn't yet converted to free market economics. That took a while. But when you go to university, you get the full Frankfurt School agenda pummeled into this tiny little brain. But, you know, I just thought it funny just to wind the socialist workers up by going Maggie, 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 just to sort of like wind them up. And also I had the experience that I saw my brother sort of morph from a sort of like a Tory boy into commie boy. And it's just like, it's really actually quite funny. So where does that leave us now? I was always very suspicious of Tony Blair. He was the first election I could vote in. Giving your age away, James E. But anyway, and I did not vote Labour at that election, but I didn't vote Tory either. And then when I saw Blair came in, I just had red flag after red flag after red flag. I was already working with a paedophile called, what's his name again? Doug Watson. Total pedo. Sorry, saw it with my own eyes. I saw him attempting to groom students, yeah? He was a typical pedo. He was all sweetness and light. He was a bully. He encouraged bullying, and he had just come back to work. He didn't appoint me. He was actually on leave because he was on trial for statutory rape. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, just name the fucker because basically he divides opinion where he lives. But I started to think, well, wait a minute, and then the leftists basically carry on and carry on and carry on. I think Blair wrecked the economy. Whether that was deliberate or not is a big question. What he immediately did, I've put this in another video, he immediately introduced price controls and abolished the free market. And all you guys will be going, James, you're talking rubbish. No, I'm absolutely spot on. A Mises-inspired economist would be shocked at the way all the Western governments are behaving, including Trump, by the way, including Trump. We could be in for a market correction like there is no tomorrow. And if that happens, we're going to wake up to communist governments. We're going to wake up to President AOC, and we could wake up to America in turmoil. I just hope Trump has the right strategy. Because for years under Clinton and Blair, they essentially introduced stealth socialism. So to cure the woke mindset, What is the most baffling of the lot is that we have an example in Iran. Iran in the 1970s was the place to go. So was Afghanistan, by the way. Afghanistan was the place where you went to see all the statues of Buddha, man, smoke a bit of weed, and then go to Pakistan and India, which at the time were very, very safe countries to visit. India is still safe. Well, most parts of it anyway. And Iran used to be a very liberal country. If you wanted to have a drink, it was fine. If you wanted to gamble, that was fine. Very free. And then the Ayatollah Khomeini came back from exile from Paris after making an unholy alliance with the leftists. Sound familiar? As soon as the radical Islamists of Iran took power, they killed off all the lefties. Bye-bye lefties. I mean, you do have to laugh at the Queers for Palestine. You do have to laugh at, Sultana Bran. She's already fallen out with Corbyn as old Sultana Bran. But we are going to see the radical left and Islamists take over this Labour government. Trust me, if you think Keir Starmer is bad, Keir Starmer is a hardened cultural Marxist. But he has a shred of decency about him. You see, the other thing that's embarrassing about Britain is that people actually think that all the crap that's going on at the moment is Keir Starmer's fault. Now, for a second, I can actually feel sorry for Keir Starmer. That's the second over. And basically, he has inherited at least 30 years of economic incompetency. And he's now the one carrying the can when the Ponzi scheme blows up. The Ponzi scheme is going to blow up real soon. And then we are going to have social meltdown on our hands. So enjoy your cafe latte while it lasts. We have a cafe latte economy where people are literally living the lie that problems in an economy are caused by lack of spending. That is utter garbage and economic heresy. It's a bit like, it's as if Bob and Tenconi wrote an economics book. If they wrote an economics book, they would write about this nonsense. So anyway, who's this on the phone? Hello? Sorry to mimic your voice. Who's this? Oh, it's Keir Starmer. You're going to arrest me at the border? What for? Actually, look here. Don't tell anybody. But I think someone has actually hacked my account. And the image you may see on YouTube videos is actually an AI-generated image of James. And I'm being coerced into making these videos. Keir, please help me, Keir. Please, Keir. You want to give me my digital ID? He's hung up. Keir Starmer. And come off it, Doctor Who. That's not the end of the world, is it? It's a bit of humour, Doctor Who. Best wishes to all my friends down at Speaker's Corner, especially Doctor Who. Doctor Who, if I didn't like you, I would have a right go at you. I think you're a bit dour sometimes, but I actually think you're all right. I've cut down, I'm a bit more respectful with the language. You were right about that. The S word is not bad words, Doctor Who. It comes out, once or twice a day, and at the moment it's coming out too much. I've eaten something. But anyway, all is well. And I think that, patriots should stop following idiots like Tenconi. Even though he's better than my brother, that just tells you what scumbag my brother is. Who's a socialist who inherited £400,000 and doesn't share any of it. I mean, it's quite funny with these socialists. When they actually come into money, their socialism starts to sort of die quite a lot. But no, the good news is, what's the good news? Is that make friends with your lefty friends. Get them out of this woke mind virus. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing economics classes, but I'll do some online, and I'll have to sort of put them on different channels, because if people find out I'm moonlighting as a pirate YouTuber, well, you never know. But I've also got one other problem. I can't find anyone woke here. Now, you're going to think, James has basically come to paradise. I can't find anyone woke. I mean, okay, I don't know whether these guys who can't even speak a bloody word of English are woke. But when I talk to English people, none of them are woke. This place is like bloody paradise. So anyway, Banchot Motherchot Pakistan, Jai Hind India, I think it's about time that people had frank discussions, because if we don't watch it, we are going to be Iran 2.0, and that's where I agree with Mayatosi, for sure. This wokeism has got to end. We have got to start looking at bare facts in the face, like you're developing a double chin, James. Anyway, I'll hide the double chin. Can you please put that AK-47 away, because you're coercing me to make this video? Catch you later.